Hello and welcome to another batch of the new cards for the next expansion, Rebirth of Glory. So the first thing we have here is Magna Giant. It is a 7-drop 5/5 Portalcraft Machina card. It does have Accelerate 1, put around a Machina card, except Magna Giant, from your deck into your hand. Ward, Fanfare, damage to all enemy followers. X equals the number of allied Machina followers destroyed this match. And it retains, of course, Ward with the Evo as well, so the Excel is very good, being able to tutor out cards, that should work wonderfully. And then its base stats are actually fairly decent with Ward. I mean, getting a 5/5 Ward for 7 and being able to basically effectively wipe a board reasonably easily should be cool. So Portal getting some really nice support. It's Machina trait, so should be really cool to see. Then we have our Underworld Shaman. We have 7-drop 1/9 silver card for Shadowcraft. It does have Ward and also has Fan. Right, put a random 3 play point follower and a random 1 play point follower from your deck into play. So that's actually cool. That's a double summon off it, which is nice. It has decent stats. It's a good ward. It could go into a control shadow maybe. Definitely could see this being some kind of viable option. Definitely not, of course, the be all end all, but really solid for a silver. Then we have a Fatal Fiends, or Fields? I think it's Fields, sorry. Fatal Fields. So it's a 4-drop silver amulet for Shadowcraft. At the end of your turn, destroy a random allied follower and random enemy follower. It's obviously on the countdown too, so that's not bad actually. At the end of turn, destroying both an allied and a random. It doesn't say that it requires you to have an allied follower on board. It just says and a random enemy, so I'm assuming if you play this, it'll also just be able to kill a random enemy if you don't have anything on board. But considering you're playing Shadow, destroying your own is actually usually pretty fine. So getting at least, I'd say 2 to 3 out of this, I think. Countdown 1, 2, I think maybe 2 at least minimum. Not bad. Pretty decent solid amulet card. Again, it might be interesting in some form of control shadow, but could also do pretty well in the mid-range potentially. Then we have Seductress Vampire, the 8-drop 4/4 legendary for Bloodcraft. It is during your turn when this card is added to your hand from your deck. If Vengeance is not active for you, reveal it and then banish it. Vengeance is active for you for the rest of this match. So even if your leader, sorry, we missed a whole section. If Vengeance is not active for you, wow, that's actually crazier than I thought. Okay, so during your turn when this card is added to your hand from your deck, if Vengeance is not active, so assuming you draw this turn 1 would be really good, reveal it and then banish it. Vengeance is active for you for the rest of this match, even if your leader's defense is more than 10. Fanfare, deal 4 damage to an enemy, then restore 4 defense to your leader. So this card is actually pretty insane. First I thought maybe it wasn't activating Vengeance permanently unless you're already in Vengeance, but by the looks of it, it activates if you're not in Vengeance, which is insane to think about now. Because I only took a glance at this card before actually, doing a video like this for you guys. So I usually delve a lot of the cards. I have a rough idea on what they do, but I don't like to delve into them too much till we're here. But this card, wow. In Unlimited, this card has some absolutely crazy value, and even in rotation, a permanent Vengeance for really cheap, and comboing that with the amount of draw and stuff Blood has, this card could be absolutely crazy. If you pull this on your first turn, you're looking at the most insane play ever, so that could be nuts. Also, I'm assuming it doesn't count from the mulligan though. I don't think it'll banish itself from the mulligan. So if you draw this and you go into your mulligan phase and it goes into your hand, I'm assuming it won't work. I'll have to wait and see about that, because it says added from your hand to your hand from your deck. I don't know if the mulligan will actually trigger this effect initially, even pre-turn 1, but because you'd have to be going first anyway, because it's got to be during your turn. So you probably wouldn't get off the mulligan. You don't have to get it from the deck, so if you were going to get this in your opening hand, you'd throw it away in the mulligan and go for something else, but still, absolutely insane one. Then we have Wise Dragon Scholar, a 3-drop 2/2 gold for Dragoncraft. It is a Fanfare, discard a card from your hand and then draw a card. It can't be attacked, so the can't be attacked is a separate effect, which is nice. Retaining that would be really good, especially with the Evo, of course, which is discard a card from your hand and then draw a card as well. So getting a double discard effect on an Evo is pretty decent. I can see Discard Dragon making okay advantage of this, potentially. And overall, it's just a pretty well-rounded card, so not bad. Then we have a Steelwing. It is a 5-drop 4/5 bronze card for Havencraft. It is a Machina trait. It does have the Rush ability, so that's okay. And it's got Strike whenever this follower attacks. Summon an Assembly Droid. That's not too bad at all. Haven getting, again, more good Machina trait support. I felt like Haven and Portal was some of the two decks that seemed to lack it the most, almost. I'd like Haven did get the Legendary, but even then it wasn't that great, and Portal again got Baphomet, but again not very good either, so getting more support for it could definitely be interesting. Then we have Greater Lesser Mummy, so it's a 2-drop 2/2 bronze card for Shadowcraft. Doesn't have any kind of unevolved effect, but does have an evolve effect. For evolve, if another allied follower is in play, perform Necromancy 8, give Storm to another allied follower. So that is actually pretty decent as far as things go, giving Storm to a potentially allied follower. But it does cost 8 Necromancy, which is quite high, so for a bronze card, I would say this is okay. Definitely okay for a bronze card. But you would really heavily have to think about how you want to use this. Again, probably in a control deck where you could get something big out and retain it maybe, or I don't really know any other big combos you could pull off with this off the top of my head, but it's not necessarily bad, it's just very, very average. Very average card. Then we have Elena Purist Prayer, a 2-drop 2/2 legendary for Havencraft. It does have Ward, and the evil effect is Summon Elena's Prayer. So bringing Elena's Prayer back to rotation through this card. I actually really like this since it is Summon Elena's Prayer and not just play it, like get it in your hand or anything. So effectively for a 2-drop with an evo, you can get this and the Elena's Prayer onto the board, play another card with it on turn 4 or 5, and potentially have a really good setup. So I'm really looking forward to using this, as Elena's Prayer was one of my favorite decks alongside Tenko, even before they went into the meta. They were really fun decks for me to play, so really looking forward to giving this card a solid go. Then we have Keel Holy Marksman, a 4-drop 4/3 gold card for Havencraft. Whenever your leader's defense is restored, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. Evolve, restore 2 defense to your leader. Whenever your leader's defense is restored, deal 2 damage to all enemy followers. So this is a board wipe Holy Man, which is actually not bad at all. It doesn't have any face damage attack, which is a little disappointing, but since it does have Evo and it gives you healing there, that's actually pretty decent. So I'm definitely happy with this card. It's a good area of effect card and has some potential in a heal build, so could be fun. Then we have Entrancing Blow, a 2-drop bronze card for Bloodcraft. Give +2/+0 to a Bloodcraft follower in your hand. Deal 3 to a random enemy follower. This card can be played only when a targetable card is in your hand. So giving +2 to a follower in your hand, Blood getting more support for that hand buffing decks, which is good, I guess. There's a few decent hand buff Blood decks. I've been running an aggro variant that uses a similar feature. And deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower, so that's actually really good. I would actually use this in the Blood deck that I've been running lately. I would probably even use it to replace out... this is for unlimited, of course. Snarling Chains I've been running for that extra damage, but this card could do better. It still fits that deal 3 damage to a random enemy. Oh, it is random of those. Snarling Chains isn't random. Little tricky, although Snarling Chains typically I'm only using it to target 1 follower on board anyway, so random might be okay. I'd have to wait and see, but this card has some potential and I would definitely at least give it a go in some aggro Blood decks in unlimited. Not sure about rotation though, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Then we have Hulking Dragonute. It is an 8-drop 7/4 Dragoncraft card. It does have Rush and Ward, along with can't take more than 1 damage at a time. So this one is fairly interesting. Its Evo also has can't be destroyed by spells and effects added to it, so that's actually pretty cool, but of course can be destroyed by damage from spells and effects, so not as cool. But Rush and Ward, both pretty good traits when you can only take 1 damage at a time. This is like the ultimate roly-poly. I've seen a few people compare it to that card. 7/4, okay, gonna get over a lot of things, especially since it can trade easily. Since it only takes 1 damage at a time and can't be damaged by spells and effects on Evo, you're looking at a fairly bulky follower that really is you're going to struggle to remove easily. Banishment would be your best way, Transform, again, another good way. But otherwise, you're just ramming a bunch of small stuff, which a lot of decks have access to small stuff these days, so a card like this, while pretty interesting and cool looking, probably isn't going to have that much of an advantage over a lot of decks since there are so many small aggro decks, and getting this on board is going to take up most of your turn 8. You're going to get the Russian Ward, but that's about it. Then we have Splendorous Rock. It is a 3-drop 3/3 bronze card for Dragoncraft. Fanfare Enhance 6, evolve this follower. Strike whenever this follower attacks, gain +1 until the end of turn. Strike whenever this follower attacks, gain +1 until the end of the turn, retained for the Evo effect. So the Fanfare Enhance 6 Evo, good. Free Evo for Dragon. We've seen like we've got a fairly few archetypes over the last expansion and so with this one, so with the Machina traits and the Evo effects, along with stuff like hand buff Blood and other support cards for other crafts, we're really getting a lot of expansion on currently existing effects, while also, of course, bringing those new ones. So quite interesting. I think this card at least has a place as far as it goes if Evolve Dragon becomes a thing. So never wrong to have free Evos in the current metas. Then we have Emilu Smile Mancer. That's an interesting name. It's a 3-drop 2 silver card for Runecraft. Fanfare, summon an Earth Essence. Whenever an allied Earth Essence comes into play, deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. So this is like the reverse of the Keel card, which is interesting. So whenever an allied Earth Essence comes into play, deal 1 damage to the enemy leader retained. So this actually gives Earth Rune another viable option for some burn, which is actually cool. I would actually love to see a decent Earth Burn deck built around this card in particular, dealing, you know, your early game damage while you move into your later game big damage. So that could be really cool and interesting. Then we have Unica, Unicorn Maiden, a 2-drop 2/2 redone of Unica. Really wanted to see a Unica redone. It's been quite a while. That does pretty much round out all the 2-drops that were really important back in the day. This, of course, is a neutral. It does have Strike whenever this follower attacks, restore 2 defense to your leader. A little bit better, I think, than it used to be. It was return at the end of your turn. Now you're just getting it straight up on the attack, which is good. Potentially some good value for Haven here using this card when it gets free healing, so why not? Then we have Tender Rabbit Healer, Havencraft card. It is a 1-drop 1/1. Fanfare, restore 1 defense to all allies. Enhance 7, gain +4/+4 and restore 4 defense instead. So this card is a mass heal card. This is actually dirt cheap and really easy to run. Running this card with something crazily potential like Tenko in Unlimited could be nuts. Even with the Elena's Prayer, it does say all allies, so it does include your leader. So this card is actually nuts. Wow. This and Elena's Prayer should do an insane job on buffing boards, especially since you set up the Elena's Prayer, you potentially already have something on board, you play out 2 of these cards, for example, on turn 4, you've just summoned a mass board with mass stats, so really interesting if you can pull off a hand like that, but considering this is a bronze card, this is really quite good. Then we have a Jet Broom Witch. It is a 2-drop 1/3 bronze card for Runecraft. It does have the Machina trait. It is a Fanfare choose. Put either Assembly Droid or Repair Mode into your hand. Very straightforward effect. Don't mind it too much. Getting some more support again for Rune. Not bad. And that does round out all of the cards for this video at least. So we've covered quite a few now. I'm sure there are a heap more coming. I know that we've seen the majority of cards as far as Japanese releases and other sources releases, but so far this is all the ones that have come up on Twitter with their official translations that I have covered. So hopefully you guys do enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Until next time guys, see ya.